Hey everyone, this is Bob Kovacs here at Wirefly with a quick review of the Samsung Exhibit 2 4G for T-Mobile. This is a T-Mobile phone, and this is the replacement for the Samsung Exhibit 4G, which came out, nearly a year ago, and just a few months later, Samsung and T-Mobile announced that they were going to have the Exhibit 2. This is the Exhibit 2. So let's very quickly go over what is obviously different about the Exhibit 2 versus the Exhibit, and then we'll do a rundown of the specs, and then we'll jump into the review, and hopefully we'll get done with it all pretty quickly. So once again, this is the Samsung Exhibit 2 4G. This has a 3.7-inch diagonal LCD display with a resolution of 480 by 800. Now, the original Exhibit had a 3.5-inch display, so this display is just a little bit bigger. They both have the same resolution of 480 by 800. The original Exhibit had a touchpad down here in addition to the Android buttons, and that touchpad allowed you to navigate around the screen. This does not have that touchpad. However, this comes out of the box with Android 2.3.5, whereas the original Exhibit, I think, came out of the box initially with Android 2.2, although at some point it got updated to Android 2.3. So this has got Android 2.3.5. Some of the other features about the Exhibit 2, it's very lightweight, first of all, very slim and lightweight. Basically, this phone has all of the technology of Samsung's well-regarded Galaxy S series of phones. Now, that was the original Galaxy S series that came out in the summer of 2010, and that series is still living on today in phones like the Exhibit 2. So it actually has a very pretty display, it has very good response. It has a 1 gigahertz single-core processor and 512 megabytes of processor RAM. And I started to talk about how slim and lightweight it was. It only weighs 4 ounces. That's a very lightweight phone considering the size. This has got a bigger display than an iPhone, and it weighs considerably less. Inside the Exhibit 2, there's a 1500 milliamp hour battery. That's 1,500 milliamp hours. And it does have a front camera. This is a VGA front camera, which is, of course, 640 by 480 pixel resolution. On the back, it has a 3 megapixel camera. Now, it can only do, for video, it can only do 640 by 480 video. You might call that DVD quality video, but it's maybe best called enhanced standard definition. You can see here that it has an LED flash, and it does work pretty good, I might point out. I thought the LED flash did very nice. There's 7 Android pages here, and it scrolls reasonably smoothly, gets around pretty good. You can see it's nice and bright. Let's go back here. It's very nice and bright, and the colors are pretty true looking. I'm actually kind of surprised at just how true looking the display is. Very nice. So let me do a couple of things here, and we'll show some examples of photos and videos as well. First of all, this is a 4G phone. It's good for T-Mobile's HSPA Plus 4G speed of 14.4 megabits per second. That's the maximum fastest speed. Let's go ahead and take a look very quickly at what it's like to navigate around on YouTube. There is a dedicated YouTube app, and there's a video of me. If you search on the term on YouTube, tattoo tortilla, you'll find a video that I did. There it goes. The very first one in the stack is me. So this is what I'm going to put it in HQ mode. Hopefully we've got enough data down here in the basement of the Wirefly building. And there I am. I'm going to be singing a song called Tattoo, which I did not write myself.
Someone might want to give him or herself. Other than that, there's no relation to Christmas. She called on her new cell phone from somewhere at the mall. I could hear her girlfriends laughing at her side. She said that she was next in line there at the tattoo store.
Well, you get the idea. Okay, I don't want to waste too much time on that. So that's what it looks like on YouTube. Let's go back and take a quick look at the internet. Right there, go on the web. And that's what Google looks like. If I want to search on Google, hit that. Up comes the keyboard. And I thought it was pretty good doing the keyboard. The keys are big enough on this 3.7-inch display that I could get it pretty easily. I'm going to go to the bandwidth meter on CNET, and see if I can do a quick bandwidth test. And here we go. Whoops. Let's go back. Come on. And I'm going to start the test. So this is a 4G phone. It just got 2.9 megabits. That's really not a 4G speed, but that is a heck of a good 3G speed. And we're not known for our fast T-Mobile speeds here at the Wirefly building, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with 3 megabits per second for a wireless speed to a cell phone. That's not using Wi-Fi. That's the T-Mobile network speed, which I thought was pretty good. Okay, I mentioned that we were going to look at some stuff. I'm going to first run the quadrant test, and we'll see what kind of score we get for the quadrant test. Now, this test takes a while to run, so I'm going to turn the camera off, and we'll pick it up when the test is ready to finish. This is the last graphical test that's part of the quadrant suite of tests. And it's going to ask if I want the results, and I certainly do. Now, this is the latest version of Quadrant. This is a free download from the Android market. And this says that this device got 1,217. That's 1217. Not a bad Quadrant score for a single-core processor. Now, that is very typical of what the Samsung Galaxy S phones get when they are upgraded to Android 2.3. I have a Galaxy S 4G phone for T-Mobile, and it gets a very similar score to that. So that demonstrates that this has about the same internal power as the other Galaxy S phones. And looks pretty good. Let's just go back here, look at the system information really fast. You can see it's Android 2.3.5, and it is running a 1 gigahertz, that's 1024 megahertz, single-core processor. And you can see what the memory is. That's 500. That works out to be 512 megabytes of RAM. So let's go back to this. And I mentioned that the phone is fairly small. Here's how it compares to a credit card. This is a genuine fake credit card. So if you want to copy the information and use it, just be sure you tell them that your name is your name here. And that's how it compares. It's not a heck of a lot bigger than a credit card. Really is a fairly small phone. Okay, I told you that I took some photos. Let's go back. Did the wrong thing there. I told you that I took some photos with this. So let's go ahead and take a look at what those photos look like. First of all, I took a flesh tone shot. Now that is Lauren on the left and Ricardo on the right. And I thought it did a pretty darn good job with that. I thought that the sparkle in the eyes came out very good. That adds a lot of life to the picture. And the overall balance was pretty good. You can see details in her face and in his face. Now, I deliberately set this up so that there's a bright background, which is a very difficult thing to do. And I thought maybe it focused a little bit better on the background than it did on their faces, but overall it was pretty good, reasonably low noise. Okay, that's what it looked like for a photo, a reasonably good job for the photo. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what a video looked like. Okay, I'm shooting video with the Samsung Exhibit 2, and now this is a standard definition camera. It can only do a maximum of 640 by 480 video, which means that it will be in the standard 4:3 aspect ratio of standard definition television. It won't have the wider 16:9 aspect ratio that HD TV has. That's the Wirefly building there. Beautiful blue, clear skies. It's March 1st today. In theory, it's still winter, but winter has not made a showing this winter. And today is an example of that. Absolutely glorious today. So this is an example of video from the Samsung Exhibit 2. I thought it did a pretty good job on the video. Again, this is kind of standard definition plus video, so it's not HD video. But I thought it captured the blue of the sky very well and still was able to show the green grass and handled itself fairly well on this very bright day today. And again, it is lower resolution. It's not HD. It's not 720p. It's kind of enhanced standard definition. And I thought the audio was pretty good too. The audio was a little loud. Now I was holding the phone maybe 9 inches from my mouth, but I thought it captured clear audio, if maybe a little loud. The display was kind of washed out in the bright sun, but you have to mostly expect that with an LED display. Okay, so let's kind of wrap this up. Once again, this is the Samsung Exhibit 2 for T-Mobile. It is a kind of lower-end 4G phone. This is an affordable phone. In many cases, it's going to be free or very low cost. So for that amount of money, you get a very lightweight, very compact phone with a very pretty 3.7-inch display. I wouldn't mind having a larger display, but a lot of you will be perfectly satisfied with the 3.7-inch display. It makes a very nice, clear, crisp image with the 480 by 800 resolution. So it seems to be reasonably well built overall. I like the fact that it has a little trap door that covers the USB port. It has a standard 3.5 millimeter audio jack. As you heard when I played that video of me, it can make good loud sound through its speaker on the back. So overall, the Samsung Exhibit 2 4G is a pretty decent, affordable phone. Now, this is not a top-of-the-line phone. It's going to pale in comparison to an HTC Amaze or the Samsung Galaxy S2. Those are in a different class. But for the class that the Exhibit 2 is in, it does a pretty darn good job. And by the way, if you want to buy the Exhibit 2, Wirefly has great prices and great service. We are the cell phone superstore at your door. So I hope you think about Wirefly when it comes time to buy something like the Exhibit 2. Hey everybody, this is Bob Kovacs here at Wirefly. Thanks for watching.